Okay, if you're in charge of marketing for a large company here in Malaysia, you already know organic growth is an absolute beast. It's critical, but man, scaling it can feel like a constant uphill battle. So this is your quick, no-fluff briefing on the new playbook for actually winning at Enterprise SEO.
So, here's what we're going to cover. We'll kick things off with why scaling is so hard. Then we'll walk through a new strategic framework to fix it. After that, we'll touch on governance and measurement, and wrap up with what might just be the trickiest piece of the whole puzzle, your organization itself.
All right, first things first. Why are we even having this conversation? Well, it's because the very strategies that got your brand to where it is today, they're now the very things holding you back from your next phase of growth. And this, right here, this is the single most important idea to get your head around. Enterprise SEO isn't just small business SEO on steroids. You can't just do more of the same stuff. You have to operate with a completely different model because the complexity, the stakes, everything has changed.
So, where does it all fall apart? It's a really important question, because these problems, they're sneaky, they're invisible. You don't see the cracks forming until you're looking at flat traffic numbers or losing market share, and by then, the damage is already done.
And this slide just lays it out perfectly, doesn't it? On the left, that's your old playbook. It worked when you had a few dozen pages and one team calling the shots. Easy enough. But on the right, that's the enterprise reality. We're talking thousands of pages, multiple business units, and trying to get marketing, dev, product, and compliance all on the same page. It's a whole different universe.
So, how in the world do you manage all that complexity? Well, you need a new way of thinking about it. You need a new framework, one that's built on 4 solid strategic pillars that can bring some serious order to all that chaos.
Okay, so here they are. This is your new blueprint. Think of it like this. First, we've got architecture, which is all about making sure Google can even find your most important content. Second, topical authority, which is about proving you're the go-to expert. Third, technical governance. This is about keeping your site's engine healthy at a massive scale. And finally, Enterprise Authority, to really cement your position as a leader.
For Pillar 1, just imagine that Google's crawler has a limited amount of time and money to spend on your site each day. Every single second it wastes crawling a duplicate page or some low-value content, that's a lost opportunity. It's one less chance for it to find and rank a page that actually makes you money.
Now, Pillar 2, this is a fundamental shift in strategy. You have to stop playing the short-term game of just chasing individual keywords. That's like renting traffic. Instead, you need to start building a real, long-term, defensible asset, and that asset is what we call topical authority, where Google sees you as the definitive source on a subject.
And here's what that actually looks like. You don't just write a blog post. You build an entire interconnected knowledge hub. You have your main pillar page covering the big topic, and then all these cluster pages that dive super deep into the specifics. A structure like this just screams expertise to Google and builds visibility that your competitors just can't copy overnight.
Okay, let's head down to the engine room. On a small website, a little technical glitch is annoying, right? But on an enterprise site with thousands of pages, that exact same glitch can become a massive anchor, suppressing your rankings across the entire business.
Just look at this chart. These are the usual suspects, the things that are silently sabotaging your SEO. Each one of these slices represents a problem, like messy URLs from tracking codes, that confuses Google, splits your ranking authority in half, and just burns through that precious crawl budget we were just talking about.
So the key here is to stop thinking about these as one-off fixes. You have to stop playing technical whack-a-mole. You need to build ongoing systems. A system to monitor site speed, a system to manage duplicate content, a system to roll out structured data. It's about governance, not just fixing things as they break.
Now this is how your SEO program gets the respect and the budget it deserves from the C-suite. The reports you share have to go beyond the jargon. They need to speak the language of the business, and that language is revenue and market share.
This is how you completely change the conversation. Stop reporting on where you rank for a few keywords. Start reporting on how much sales pipeline was generated by organic search last quarter. When you start talking about metrics like share of search, which is basically your market share in Google, you're proving you have strategic command over a core business channel.
All right, let's talk about the final, and to be honest, probably the most challenging part of this entire equation. You can have the most brilliant strategy on a whiteboard, but its success almost always comes down to solving the internal, organizational roadblocks.
I'm willing to bet you're looking at this list and just nodding along. Does any of this sound familiar? The development backlog where SEO tickets go to die? Or the content approval process that takes weeks? These aren't just little process issues. They are massive brakes on your growth.
And all of this leads to a huge strategic decision that's probably on your plate right now. Do you try to build out this massive capability entirely in-house, or do you partner with an agency to do it? Well, the most successful companies are finding it's not really an either-or choice.
The winning combination, more often than not, is a hybrid model. You need an in-house lead who owns the program, someone who understands the business context and can navigate the internal organization. Then you partner them with a specialist agency that brings the deep technical expertise and the horsepower to actually get the work done. You really do get the best of both worlds.
And this is really the final thought I want to leave you with. This requires a complete mindset shift. You have to start treating SEO as a core part of your technology and your product stack, not just as another item on the marketing checklist.
So that's the real question that should be driving your next steps. As you look at your strategy, your teams, and your partners, you have to ask yourself honestly, is our organization actually structured to win the long game in organic search?